And we got to talk more about that with this system. Like, if you want Natasha Cloud, why did you not sign Natasha Cloud? I'm just putting it out there. Like, for dear Steph White, if you wanted Natasha Cloud, why did you not sign Natasha Cloud? You could have traded Caitlin Clark for whoever you wanted. You could have picked any player in the league to trade Caitlin Clark. If you wanted Natasha Cloud, why did you not just sign Natasha Cloud? Like, how exactly is the only time this team looks good as a team is when Caitlin Clark goes rogue and says, fuck your system, I'm feeling it, and runs a pick and roll, runs in isolation, runs in transition. Like, why is it the only time the team looks good is that? And like, we can live with makes and misses. We can live with makes and misses. Like, over the course of a season, if you're losing games, and if you guys agree with what I'm saying, please subscribe. We have been trying to get to 59.3k for like a month. But if you guys agree with what I'm saying, you can live with makes and misses if the process is good. Because over the course of the year, if you are winning in the process, eventually you will figure something out. But there's two simultaneous problems with the Fever. And it's something that I said was going to happen at the start of the year, in March. You have got gritty, ISO-heavy Kelsey Mitchell, who, by the way, had to adjust her game for Caitlin Clark in 2024. Kelsey Mitchell is pre-Caitlin Clark Kelsey Mitchell again. That is who she is. That is what she wanted to be. That is who she is. The Kelsey Mitchell, that is this off-the-ball specialist, does not exist anymore. 500 through 20 games while they're caught between up-tempo CC style and the gritty ISO ball. Someone said they were 5-8 with a hurt, 8-5 with a hurt Caitlin. What am I doing here? They won 5 straight games, also made the finals aside. Doesn't suit Caitlin Clark. Steph White has made clear she doesn't like risky basketball. Why do you think she will 180 on the playoffs and give Caitlin the keys? Not saying will, I'm saying they'll be better than 520 games in. I don't think they will. That play style because Caitlin wasn't an option. People are dumbasses. They think Steph White doesn't believe Steph White believes in her coaching. That's not a flaw in the coach. She believes in her coaching. Thank you so much, DAJ, for the membership. Caitlin Clark going rogue is the only way that this team looks good with Caitlin Clark on the floor. And then with Caitlin Clark off the floor, they come, like, when Caitlin Clark's not on the team at all, they like this, when Caitlin Clark is not on the floor and not in the game, they don't ever rely on Caitlin. It becomes, every single player on the team knows. If Caitlin Clark, thank you so much for the $5, Vic. This game's very hard to watch, I agree. Everybody knows. If Caitlin Clark's not there, you're not playing up-tempo. You're playing gritty, ugly basketball. And they all get used to that. But when Caitlin's there, they're in this situation where it's like, oh, we don't know what we want to do. Do we want Kelsey Mitchell to run around in circles? Do we want Kelsey Mitchell to run around in circles and do nothing? Or do we want Caitlin to be ahead of the snake? It feels like this is two players that are fighting against each other. Like, I'm sorry, Caitlin was on the floor for 35 minutes. Kelsey was on the floor for 33 minutes. How exactly is Kelsey Mitchell -8 and Caitlin +3? So what does that mean? The likelihood is that Caitlin in the non-Kelsey Mitchell minutes is probably what, +10? It's probably +10 in the non-Kelsey Mitchell minutes. Like, in Caitlin's minutes without Kelsey. It is, for me, it's like they are fighting with, do they want to be the team they were in the playoffs last year? Or do they want to be the team that they were in 2024? They're fighting between that. And I think long-term, you have got to be the team that was there in 2024. Why? Because in 2025, you were a sub-500 team who got lucky in the playoffs because other teams choked. It's a fact. You did not make it to the playoffs because you were good. You made it to the playoffs because you were good at dragging teams down. That is the Steph White special. And that's what Steph White's really good at, by the way. Steph White is really, really good at dragging teams down to their level. I also want you to ask, how many open shots did the Fever take today? How many open shots did the Fever take? Like wide open catch and shoot shots. The answer is probably, I would say, less than 5. This offense, the Stephanie White offense, does not generate open shots. It generates an ugly style of basketball. And they are trying to win ugly. The Indiana Fever are trying to win ugly. And Caitlin can't win ugly. She's not very good at it. Like, Caitlin has to go rogue in this system. If Caitlin isn't going rogue, Caitlin is literally just being a decoy. It's as simple as that. If Caitlin's not going rogue and trying to get her scores herself and trying to just will a team to a win on her back, like Caitlin has to will these teams to wins. If Caitlin's not willing this team to a win, they don't win. Like, and like the Fever choked. And I mean this. You can't put one bit of blame on Caitlin Clark because what? They're up 12 points. Caitlin Clark gets subbed off. She subs back in. They're up 3 points. They then go up 5. Caitlin Clark gets subbed off. She subs back in. They're down 2 points. Like, you can't, in the second half, they went on a 9-0 run without Caitlin on the floor. And they had to sub Caitlin back on 4 fouls. And then Caitlin subs off and they go on a, Kelsey hits a 3. They go on a 9-3 run with Caitlin off the floor. 9-0 run and 9-3 run in the 4 minutes, or in the, 3 minutes Caitlin Clark was off. So 18-3. Caitlin Clark missed 4 minutes of the second half. 18-3 to the Liberty. 18-3. Like, this is straight up. And then when Caitlin comes back on, she doesn't touch the ball because Kelsey Mitchell is running in circles. Because Kelsey Mitchell is doing her best impression of the Roadrunner. Caitlin doesn't touch the ball in the last, 3.5 minutes of the game. She touched it once and drove in and got swatted. Someone said that's not accurate. Sorry. Because she subbed in while they were mid free throws, it's not factually correct. Because it was a 7-0 run. Because she subbed in mid free throws. And she subbed in and then they hit 2 free throws. So technically it was a 7-0 run. But no, it's a 9-0 run. We watched the game, not looking at a fucking box score. It was like Caitlin actually just can't function in this system. It is a massive flaw and she cannot function in it at all. And it's a problem.